What if the chicken sitting in your fridge right now is barely chicken at all? And I'm not talking about a fake meat substitute. I'm talking about a real bird soaked in strange injections, parked under a heat lamp for half a day, and then sealed into a plastic bag so the steam turns the skin into mush. Every single week, millions of Americans grab a rotisserie chicken on the way home from work because the price feels like a win and the smell feels like a hug. Some of those birds are genuinely worth every dollar. Most of them are not. Today, we are walking through 13 store brands you should walk past, and 9 that actually understand what a rotisserie chicken is supposed to be. If that thought just changed the way you look at your local deli counter, do me a small favor before we get rolling. Tap the like button, click subscribe, and share this with one friend who picks up a rotisserie chicken every week without thinking twice. They will thank you in about 10 minutes. Let's start with a discount chain that survives on price but pays for it on every bird. Number 13, Aldi. Aldi built an empire on stripped-down pricing, and for many of the items they sell, that approach works fine. Rotisserie chicken is where the math stops working. Reviewers routinely score Aldi's bird around 2 out of 10 when eaten plain, which makes the whole point of buying a pre-cooked chicken evaporate. The skin tends to come out flabby, almost deflated, the kind of texture that shows up only when a bird has spent too long warming under a display lamp and not enough time actually rotating on a spit. Then there is the ingredient list behind the bird. The seasoning injection is loaded with maltodextrin, citric acid, and a generic natural flavors label that hides a small chemistry experiment. Anyone watching their sodium, anyone managing blood pressure, anyone trying to eat clean should treat this bird as a trap wearing a $5 price tag. And Aldi's supplier network is not squeaky clean either. The chain has been tangled in multiple salmonella and listeria recalls over the past decade, mostly through shared poultry vendors. When a chicken is priced this low, the chicken usually tells you why. Number 12, Kroger. Kroger's rotisserie chicken is the kind of bird that looks fine in the bag and falls apart the moment you cut into it. The biggest issue is the packaging. Kroger drops the bird into a sealed plastic bag right after roasting, and the trapped steam slowly turns the skin soft and pasty. You can see it without touching it. The longer it sits in that mini steam room, the more flavor bleeds out of the meat. On a good day, that is annoying. On a normal day, it is worse. The breast dries out, the crust becomes a heavy salt hit with nothing underneath, and you end up chewing just to commit. There is a deeper problem too. Kroger has spent years putting no hormones and no antibiotics on the label, while advocacy groups like Animal Outlook have accused the chain of selling factory-farmed meat dressed up with friendly words. Consumer Reports has also flagged Kroger for misleading ad claims on its weekly specials. The price may look like a deal. The bird and the truth behind it say otherwise. Number 11, Safeway. Safeway treats a rotisserie chicken like a toddler treats a sandwich. Pile it high, throw everything on, and hope it tastes okay. The injection solution alone contains 12 ingredients, including sodium tripolyphosphate, brown sugar, rice starch, dextrose, carrageenan, sodium acid pyrophosphate, and a splash of vinegar. The outer coating adds up to 14 more, including maltodextrin, corn syrup solids, sorbate, paprika, and sugar. That is a chemistry list a mile long for a product that is supposed to be simple protein. It is the wrong shape for anyone with type 2 diabetes, anyone watching blood pressure, or anyone trying to lower cardiovascular risk. And the worst part is, even after all that, the chicken still tastes bad. Plain eating is nearly impossible because the bird is either underdone or scraped dry. The only way I could push through a Safeway bird was by tearing it into a pasta dish and letting the sauce do the rescue. At nearly $8 a pop, you're paying premium price for a bird that punishes you for eating it. Number 10, Food Lion. Food Lion positions itself as a low-cost fresh food champion, and that sets a serious expectation for its rotisserie chicken. The 28-ounce bird starts at $6.99 and occasionally drops to $5.99. Compare that to a 48-ounce Costco bird at $4.99, and you can already feel the value gap. I was willing to forgive the markup until I bit in. The salt level is overwhelming. One serving can hit 600 milligrams of sodium, roughly 40% of the recommended daily ceiling in a single bite of chicken. Food Lion also seasons with sodium phosphates, additives that research has linked to kidney stress, heart strain, and weakened bones over time. Carrageenan and added sugar bring their own concerns, including nausea for people with sensitivities. In other words, this is a bird that charges more, tastes harsher, and quietly stacks up health risks against a piece of meat that should be the safest meal on the table. Number 9, Target Good and Gather. Target convinced millions of shoppers that its Good and Gather label is a step up from generic grocery, and on many shelves that is true. The rotisserie chicken is the exception. Reviewers keep describing it as a strange combination, dry and fatty at the same time. The rub sounds great on paper, a brown sugar, spice, molasses, and paprika blend, but the execution is wildly inconsistent. One bird comes out golden, juicy, and seasoned. The next is pale, dry, and barely touched by the spice mix. That is not quality control. That is a coin flip. At around $6 for a roughly 30-ounce bird, the price alone should be a yellow flag. The skin looks beautiful, and that is the trap. Underneath, the meat is frequently overcooked and underflavored. Two opposite mistakes sitting in the same bag. Target is, at its core, a retail store that added groceries as a side business. The rotisserie chicken proves it. Stick to buying pillows there, not dinner. Number 8, Publix. Publix is one of the hardest places to score because it does everything well sometimes and very badly other times. The Mojo flavored bird is genuinely moist and tender with a garlic citrus glaze that hits perfectly. The problem is that every other flavor at the chain tends to land in the middle or below. And at $8.85 a bird, middle is a tough sell. What makes the pricing sting even more is that you never know what size bird you will get. Publix used to roast and weigh by the pound. Now they roast whatever the supplier sends. One visit might hand you a 3-pound bird. The next visit might hand you something barely enough for one grown adult. That random sizing also wrecks the cooking math because the same oven settings are applied to very different birds. Big ones never get a crisp skin. Small ones dry out before they cool. That is not the kind of mistake you expect when you charge $9 for a piece of poultry. Number 7, Whole Foods. Whole Foods normally earns a lot of trust from shoppers, and on many items, that trust is earned. The rotisserie chicken has been sliding. The classic bird is seasoned with just salt and black pepper, and that is exactly how it tastes. Plain, quiet, almost apologetic. The skin rarely pops with flavor, and for a chain that built a brand around quality, the absence of any real signature here feels jarring. There are no additives, which is good, but you do not need additives to make a great roast chicken, and Whole Foods keeps proving it. Then there's the price. Most birds start at around $9 and run small. Want the organic version, in many cities, that pushes you to $14 or even close to $17. The worst part is that several birds come out underdone, which is hard to forgive at this price. Whole Foods should either fix the program or borrow a head chef from one of the brands we will talk about later. Number 6, Stop and Shop. Stop and Shop rarely makes headlines in the rotisserie chicken world, and after tasting it, that silence starts to feel intentional. The first warning sign is size. The regular bird is priced around $6.49 and weighs roughly 1 3/4 pounds, almost half of what most shoppers expect. The large option only inches up to just over 3 pounds, but the price jumps to nearly $14, so you pay more for less. The second warning sign is the seasoning. Stop and Shop leans hard on salt and sugar together, which is the worst possible combo for a bird you want to actually taste. There's also carrageenan in the mix, which most people can handle, but some cannot. And then there is dextrose, a plant-based sugar that behaves almost exactly like glucose once it hits your bloodstream. Dextrose has been connected to weight gain, insulin spikes, fatty liver buildup, and elevated heart risk over time. That baggage is exactly why so many Stop and Shop locations keep quietly closing their doors. Number 5, Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's has arguably the most loyal fan base in American grocery. People get the logo tattooed. They organize their week around its aisles. That kind of devotion is also why nobody wants to say out loud that the rotisserie chicken is a letdown. The smell on the way in will absolutely fool you. The aroma near the deli is warm, buttery, and perfect. Then you take the bird home, carve into it, and meet a dry, overcooked breast along with skin that collapses the moment your fork touches it. The breast especially suffers because it sits under the warming light far longer than it ever should. And the sodium numbers are not charming. Trader Joe's grilled chicken products regularly post around 610 milligrams per serving, and the rotisserie birds are not far behind. For a brand that sells itself as a healthier, more thoughtful choice, that is a quiet betrayal of its own promise. Trader Joe's suppliers have also been caught up in salmonella and listeria recalls over the past decade. The halo is real. The bird underneath it is not always worth it. By now, you might be rethinking every rotisserie chicken you have ever bought. If this video is making you see your local deli counter in a completely new way, drop a comment with your most disappointing chicken story. I read everyone, and the worst ones always end up on the channel. Number 4, Winn-Dixie. Winn-Dixie has spent the past 2 decades riding a financial roller coaster, including not 1 but 2 bankruptcies, in 2006 and again in 2018. Aldi later picked up roughly 400 stores in 2024, but resold nearly half of them to other regional grocers. Through all that turmoil, the private label took a beating, and so did the rotisserie chicken. The biggest recurring complaint is that the chicken is consistently undercooked. The last bird I bought from Winn-Dixie was alarmingly pink in the middle, almost like it had given up halfway through. Strangely, if you bring it home and finish it in your own oven, the flavor can actually be impressive. But spending $10 on a bird that still asks you to cook it is a rough joke. To be fair, some Winn-Dixie locations get it right. Many others go weeks without even stocking a rotisserie bird, and the ones they do stock are small, bland, and dry. That kind of uneven roulette is the real reason this brand sits on the skip list. Number 3, BJ's Wholesale Club. BJ's likes to call itself the East Coast answer to Costco. Same warehouse layout, same bulk buy promise, big carts rolling around the floor. But while Costco invested in its own processing plant to control everything from feed to packaging, BJ's handed the rotisserie program to Purdue. That single decision matters more than people realize. On the surface, BJ's rotisserie chickens pull in mainly favorable reviews, with over 9,500 ratings on the site. Dig into the comments, and a different story shows up. The birds come in wildly different sizes. The seasoning leans salty. The breast meat is often the weak link. These are the exact quality complaints that follow Purdue's supply chain around the country. And Purdue's track record is the headline here. In 2024, the company voluntarily recalled more than 167,000 pounds of frozen chicken after customers reported finding metal wire embedded inside the meat. Before that, the USDA's Food Safety and Inspection Service issued a public health alert for Purdue chicken sold at BJ's after plastic and blue dye were found in packaging. You are essentially paying warehouse club prices for a bird attached to a supplier. Number 2, Walmart. Walmart knows exactly how to pull you in. $5.97 for a roughly 36-ounce bird is almost impossible to ignore. You don't think twice, you grab it, you walk out feeling like a winner. The moment you sit down to eat it, the illusion dissolves. These birds are routinely undercooked. Pink juice pools at the bottom of the bag. Red patches show up when you carve. It really feels like the staff bring out the birds whenever they feel like it. The last one I bought needed another 10 minutes in my oven. By then, the breast had dried out completely. On other days, it flips the opposite way and the skin comes out burnt almost black. And even when the temperature is technically right, the flavor never really lands. You taste salt and very little else. The worst experience comes when you order online because those birds run smaller, drier, and far closer to their sell-by date. One day in the fridge and the bird is already pushing it. Number 1, Harris Teeter. No rotisserie chicken is truly hated by everyone. Even the Walmart bird still pulls a 4.1 star average on the Walmart site. Harris Teeter sits at 2.8 stars, and frankly, that score feels generous. The chain is known for solid deli work, but somewhere along the line, the chicken program fell off a cliff. These birds pull off a strange combination of being dry and mushy at the same time, which usually points to a bird that was overcooked, undersalted, then parked under warming lights for too long. The weirdest part is the missing pieces. Some chickens come out with parts already gone. The birds are tiny to begin with, so losing a leg basically means losing a quarter of what you paid for. Harris Teeter also starts selling the birds at 11 a.m., and by early afternoon the birds are visibly drier and soggier at once. Some shoppers think $7 is fair. Those shoppers have clearly never had a real grocery rotisserie chicken. That is the perfect bridge into the brands that actually nail it. Now we move into the good birds, the ones that understand what a rotisserie chicken is supposed to be. Before we go in, hit the subscribe button if you have not already and turn on the notification bell so you do not miss the next video. It is genuinely one click on your end, and it directly shapes what we make next. Number 9, HEB. If you live in Texas, you already know this list and you already know HEB. If you do not, here's your introduction. HEB's plain rotisserie bird is the cleanest, most balanced version of a regional chain chicken you will find anywhere. The natural seasoned version keeps sodium around 180 milligrams per 4-ounce serving, which is shockingly low compared to national brands. The skin comes out genuinely crispy, the breast stays surprisingly moist, and the seasoning actually sinks into the meat rather than just decorating the outside. What separates HEB from the mess we just walked through is sourcing. They're clearly labeled, no antibiotics ever bird is widely stocked. You can actually taste the cleaner feed and cleaner care in the texture. There is no carrageenan, no industrial stabilizers, just a well-executed roast chicken. The only reason HEB is not higher on the list is geography. It is a Texas operation. If you are anywhere near one of their stores, skip everything else and head straight there. Number 8, Sprouts Farmers Market. When it comes to clean ingredient rotisserie chicken, Sprouts Farmers Market is hard to beat. Their unseasoned, regular, and organic birds have a single ingredient on the label: chicken, just chicken. The shocking part is that you can barely tell anything is missing. The meat stays tender, the juices hold up well, and you can taste the freshness of the bird itself. The skin is not as shatter crisp as some competitors, but it never veers into soggy. While it works fine on its own, it is also ideal as a starter ingredient. Pull the meat, drop it into your own spice blend. Finish it in a hot oven. You control the seasoning, the bird still does most of the work. At $9.99 for a 25-ounce bird and roughly $14.99 for the organic version, this is a premium option. The quality justifies the price. Sprouts sources poultry with no antibiotics ever, no added hormones, and no steroids. Number 7, Meijer. Meijer is one of those Midwestern chains that quietly does a lot of things right. The rotisserie chicken is high on that list. Every bite shows up with layered, balanced seasoning that penetrates deep enough to reach the breast. The skin lands on a golden brown, slightly herby, slightly salty profile that never crosses into heavy. The real star is moisture. These birds are unusually juicy, to the point where you can eat them as the main course without any rescue tricks. Then there is the meal deal. For $14.99, you get a roughly 30-ounce chicken, 2 sides, and a 2-liter bottle of soda. That is enough feeding power for a small family in a single trip, and the protein per dollar is hard to match anywhere. Affordable, high protein, genuinely flavorful, and available in more stores every year as Meijer keeps expanding. Number 6, Kroger Simple Truth. Earlier we put the standard Kroger rotisserie chicken on the skip list. The soggy bag, the dry meat, the misleading labeling, all of that stands, but Kroger is hiding a second bird quietly. Simple truth. Rotisserie chicken is what happens when a national chain actually commits to a clean product. Consumer Reports named it the lowest sodium rotisserie chicken in the entire country, posting just 40 milligrams per 3-ounce serving. The only ingredients beyond the chicken itself are water and sea salt. Nothing else. No sodium phosphates, no carrageenan, no dextrose. The bird is raised cage-free on a vegetarian feed, with no preservatives, no antibiotics, and no added hormones. That is a cleaner ingredient list than many of the brands we have praised today. The taste stays simple and balanced, designed for people who want real food without the chemical bath. Use it in soups, shred it into tacos, or toss it onto a salad. Next time someone tells you Kroger cannot make a good chicken, remind them they are only half right. Number 5, Costco. Costco has been the industry reference point for years. For the past 17 years, Costco has held the chicken price at $4.99, and every chicken is 3 pounds or more. To protect that price and that quality, Costco did something almost no other chain did. They built their own chicken farm. They spent hundreds of millions of dollars to control the entire journey from feed to bag. The result is a bird that tastes far beyond what $4.99 should buy. The skin is genuinely crisp, never droopy. This is because Costco rotates the birds in and out of the warmers every 2 hours. Every bite shows up with flavor. The breast stays moist and tender. Could Costco do better? Yes, the sodium phosphate in the injection is a fair criticism, but unless you plan to eat the entire bird in one sitting, the per-person dose stays reasonable. The only real downside is that the seasoning rotation is limited, which is exactly where the next store steps in. Number 4, the Fresh Market. The Fresh Market runs a rotisserie program that looks like it was designed by a chef. These birds cook on a real rotating spit and are basted constantly, so the flavor does more than sit on the surface. Everything about the bird is dialed in. The skin looks like it came out of a cookbook, golden, crisp, and perfectly salted. Then you cut in and find the surprise: butter. The Fresh Market actually slips butter under the skin for its garlic thyme flavor. The white wine herb flavor is another standout, delivering close to restaurant flavor at a fraction of the cost. A 33-ounce bird runs $9.99 on a normal day. And there are promotional days that push the price under $7. Sundays bring a $15.99 meal deal with 2 deli sides and 6 corn muffins. Only one store beats that. Number 3, Wegmans. There was a stretch of time when Wegmans rotisserie chicken was rated the best in the entire country. Then prices crept up, the brand lost some of its shine, and the comments turned loud. But at the current price point, the bird is still a serious value. $9.99 for a 34-ounce bird. The mind automatically starts doing the Costco math, and then you see the ingredient list, and the math stops mattering. No antibiotics ever, no industrial additives, no artificial stabilizers, no sweeteners, no carrageenan, no sodium phosphate. Even the seasoning blend is gluten-free. The plain version has just 2 ingredients: chicken and sea salt. The signature rosemary flavor uses kosher salt, rosemary, sage, and garlic, and that is it. Even with that short list, the flavor comes out restaurant quality. The birds come out juicy, tender, and falling off the bone. The skin crisps well. The cooking is consistently done. The only reason Wegmans is not higher is geography. Number 2, Fairway Market. For years, loud voices have insisted that Fairway Market makes the best rotisserie chicken in New York City. They were not exaggerating. This bird is not just restaurant quality, it leans into high-end restaurant quality. The skin shows visible flavor before you even take the first bite. The bite confirms it with a burst of seasoning. These birds are clearly marinated with patience because even the breast stays tender. The signature is the Latin-style flavor. It is built from oregano, garlic, black pepper, lemon, and a generous pour of olive oil. The taste feels genuinely unique. The birds cost $9.99 for 33 ounces, and they are worth every penny. These are antibiotic-free birds. The only reason this is not number one is that Fairway is a New York story. The day that changes, the list changes. Number one, Sam's Club. After years of watching Costco dominate the rotisserie conversation, Sam's Club finally responded. The response was razor sharp. Costco has a $4.99 chicken. Sam's Club sells the same product for $4.98. Costco offers a refund policy on the chicken. So does Sam's Club. Costco serves a 3-pound bird. Sam's Club does the same. The two warehouse giants are nearly identical on paper. Where Sam's Club earns the edge is in the bird itself. Sam's Club chickens are now raised with no antibiotics ever, while Costco's reduction has not fully reached the rotisserie program yet. The big birds stay juicy and tender across the entire breast. The skin stays properly crisp, and the flavor sinks in. Sam's Club also starts selling the birds earlier than most chains, often around 9 a.m., which is perfect for early shoppers. That combination of flavor, size, price, and real availability is why Sam's Club sits at the top of this entire list. That is the full picture. 13 brands that treat rotisserie chicken like an afterthought, and 9 that treat it like a centerpiece. The biggest lesson is simple. Price alone never tells you the story. Ingredient quality, sourcing, and rotation time do. The next time you walk past that golden brown bird in the deli case, you will know exactly what to look for. You will know exactly what to walk away from. If this video changed the way you look at chickens, share it with a friend. Share it with the person in your life who still picks a bird based only on price. They will thank you for it. And if you want to see what the big deli counter brands are doing wrong with bacon, that video is next. See you there.